to cherished viewers, to all Ghanaians. Yes, I think it's the right thing to do after the hullabaloo about infractions and threats of life, destruction of property, and the likes. It's just good that we find some reasons why these things happened, and also we find the people responsible for these things and punish them. I am happy that the Interior Minister has started with this particular case. But you see, the question now is, why do we even have violence during elections? Why should we? I mean, this is supposed to be a process to elect a leader or to elect leaders. And we're supposed to just go there, do our bit, say whatever we think we can do, and then leave the place. There's no need for violence. There shouldn't be that need at all for violence. And we should continue to tell supporters, or political parties must educate their supporters that elections are processes that are supposed to be peaceful, where everyone would feel free to go in there, tell the people what you want to do or what you think you can do for them, and then at the end of the day, just leave. And that's all it's supposed to be. But when we start having violence, then it means that there is something wrong. And the bit that also got me, and I was happy about that too, that the security agencies that had always gone to keep the peace apparently were also caught up.
Indeed.
And for me, that was good to know, that at least we're beginning to let them know that professionalism is the key when you go to such places. You cannot go to a place with live bullets, and without any provocation, sometimes you start firing into innocent people, bystanders, and the likes of it. And also the fact that these people have been found and they're going to face the law. That, for me, it's a welcome call for all of us. That, yes, we can sometimes hold those in uniform responsible. But then I was a bit sad because I think at one of the places, a military officer was supposed to have also killed someone.
Yes.
And they're saying that they cannot identify the person. For me, that is a big lapse within the military setup, because I know that everywhere that one military person goes, there must be some form of movement check. You just don't get military men walking into a place themselves, especially when it's an election period. You just can't just get up and then decide that I'm going to this place. You must have been sent there by some authority. So to say that you cannot identify that person, I think that is not true.
You think he's being shielded?
I think he's being shielded. I think he's being shielded. It's either he's being shielded or that person was not a military person. You see, there are two things here, because come 2020, 2024, in fact, for quite some time now, we do have people who pose as military men. We found people in military uniforms holding military accoutrements who are not military. So it could be any of those, you understand? But if he was a military man, then I find that to be a big lapse within the setup of the military, knowing the kind of investigations and the kinds of, the caliber of people that are there. So I am happy, but I cannot mention electoral violence and all the things that go with it without mentioning other violence that has taken place in this country, and that I think the Interior Minister has to go into. And that violence has been the violence that erupted within the Upper East region and then some parts of the Northeast region. And we need for him to also be able to bring to book all those security agencies who forcefully went to certain places like Garu, beat up people without any cause.
You're referring to the recent tribal clashes that happened?
Yeah,
which even led people to
I'm referring to 2024,
Ghana.
where there was a situation and the military went to a place like Garu and beat them up. And recently, where an immigration officer was killed, and you go into the community and you go beating up young children, old folks, and the likes. You understand? You went there for a purpose. I know that the military has what it takes to investigate. And when you go into a community, usually you should befriend the community so that they can give you the information. But you don't go beating people. Now, some people lost their lives during that period in 2024. And up till date, we do not have any clues as to who those soldiers were and why they even did what they did and who sent them there. And then it happened in Waluwali as well. In keeping the peace, you went into Waluwali town. Some people too got beaten in Waluwali. You see, we cannot be political about some of these things. We cannot be sectional about some of these things. These things happened for real. In the Bako Township, military people would go in there, police people would go in there, they'll beat both sides. They'll beat and kill people and go scot-free. There have been so many infractions that have been done to the people within that Upper East region that needs to be looked into.
Beyond the fact that we are having the Interior Minister tell us that security officials, both police and military, were responsible for 7 out of the 15
exactly
deaths. You should be worried about it because all along, a lot of people were saying that officials were responsible and these concerns were dismissed.
Exactly. That is the worry now. That what kind of system do we have in place that allows for people in uniform to do what they want to do, to just walk into a place, brutalize everybody and go scot-free? You understand? They are not above the law. And I expect that going forward, the Minister of Interior will go out throughout and make sure that everywhere in this country, I can't name them this morning, but there have been so many places that we have had this kind of, brutalities. And you ask yourself, I mean, since when did the army become so sadistic to the extent that you go into a place and you beat up everybody, just because maybe some infraction had been done against you? So I'm seeing this as a plus for the Interior Minister. I'll encourage him to go out there and still fish out people. And let's deal with this now so that in 2028, we wouldn't have, or going forward even after 2028, we will not have such problems. You understand? These are things that we should be guarding against. Then also, when you read through, the idea you get is also the influx of people holding weapons. People are holding weapons that they shouldn't really be having. And until we get to the core, of where these weapons and who is supplying these people, why do you go to a political function with a weapon? With a gun or a knife? How can we stop that? How can we stop people from going to those political functions just, without weapons?
So I think we've already had the Commission on Small Arms and light weapons already complaining that there are so many weapons in the system, which is why recently we had the boss, Adam Buna, issue that statement indicating or actually asking people, and it's supposed to start this month, to bring their guns for, they should just bring their guns and they will not be prosecuted. So it speaks to the fact of how much weapons we have in our system, which makes it easy for people to even go to election areas with them.
Yes, it's not just even for the elections, for the security of this country. As we sit and we know that next door to us, there's this terrorist activity going on in Burkina Faso and the likes, and sometimes they even get to enter here. When you look at those things, you get scared. Because if people are getting weaponized, without us tracking and knowing who and who has a weapon, who and who has been given a license to import pump-action guns and the likes, and yet people are holding them, then you realize that we are sitting on a time bomb. You understand? So we must look into this. We must try as much as possible to flush out these weapons in the society.
And of course, we do have with us as well Hajia Gloria Amenu, who is women's organizer, United Party. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
And we've been joined as well by Nanaya Achempem. Let me add that one. Jantwa, presidential staff. Good morning to you as well, ma'am. It's great to have you.
Are you now selling here?
We're showing you biscuits.
Oh, assembly, so simple. Are you selling? Are you selling?
We are whetting your appetite for the peck biscuits.
So that I can take one.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can try that perhaps when you leave. Yes, but before I come to the other panelists who have just joined us, Madam Ayarna, I just wanted to ask you, you were saying that in terms of the military official, that's the interior minister, or the information tells us that could not be traced, you're saying it is either he's been shielded or it is a real lapse in the system. Would you then recommend...
Or the person was not a military person,
yes,
but maybe had the uniform as usual.
Would you recommend, for instance, cameras on them, like we've seen the police deploy now, cameras on police officers, so that wherever they are sent to and everything they do, it is recorded and people can really hold them accountable if they do the wrong thing?
I don't think that we need to have cameras on them. The army is a different kind of setup altogether. And I know that before a military man can go somewhere for any kind of operation, there must be somebody who would have told them to do so. So all we're saying is that the military must be up and doing. They should try and get... There's a bit of indiscipline. We found some bit of indiscipline where soldiers just feel like we are in it and we can do anything. And sometimes they go out of their way to settle scores. You understand? That is what I'm talking about. If you send people, for instance, I would want to know who were those people who went to Garu, to go and brutalize the people of Garu. What are you going to do about them? How about... And I was also happy about the compensation. Are you going to give compensation to all those people who have been killed in all the places? It's not just the election, not just election, but in places that there have been conflict where forces have been sent and they have brutalized people, they have murdered people. Are you going to compensate them? Because I think that the people of Boku, the people of Induri, the people of Waliwale, the people of Nalurgu, the people of wherever who had the military brutalize them should be compensated if there's going to be any form of compensation. And also, we must know who went there to commit those things. You understand? When there is a situation, the civilians are not part of your problem. You are looking for particular people. So once you go in there and you just brutalize everyone, beat up old women, beat up children, destroy things, why? So someone must pay for those things. Someone must pay for lives lost. Someone must pay for those limbs that have been broken. Those are the things that I'm talking about. As we go through as a country, we must learn to be fair to everyone. Let's not be selective in justice. Justice must run across for all. You understand?
Let's not be selective in justice.
No,
Let me get your
not.
preliminary thought as well.